once again, you can be on your mat. You can be, I'd be curious if anyone ever tries this while laying down on their bed. Let me know. Um, I will not be doing that, at least over camera, but we can always stay on the mat. And I encourage y'all to do this from anywhere you feel comfortable. But if we haven't met before, my name is Novi. I'm excited to be teaching. This will be a 30-minute class, just short and sweet. And so let's go ahead and get started. Always, we lay it all the way down. So anytime you get here early and you want to take a little nap, that is always more than welcome with me. This is a new outfit from Old Navy, and I am loving it today. I encourage y'all to go find something that makes you happy, and if that is shopping, I definitely encourage you. But let's begin to soak into our mat, to feel relaxed, knowing that it's not easy to be relaxed. Nothing that we do for stress relief is easy. So acknowledging that you're doing a hard thing this morning by trying to allow yourself this time. Noticing how our breathing is, maybe noticing our heart rate. Is it higher? Is it lower? And let's embrace our belly breathing first here today. So as we inhale, allowing this air to fill up chest and our belly, you kind of see like little arch there. And then as we exhale, our belly sinks back in towards the spine. We allow ourselves to be welcome. We can allow our hands to come anywhere. You maybe notice our heart rate is a little bit high. This is a great way to bring it back down to a resting heart. And even though we're in this pose for only about maybe 5 minutes, still trying to bring that heart rate down as much as possible. Just to really start in a relaxed state. Now beginning to check on our body again. Seeing what is sore, seeing what might be tight, maybe rolling out those ankles. Trying our full body scan today. Thinking of our lower body, noticing anything that is sore there. I know for some of us, our hips are usually a little bit tight in the morning, knowing we'll get that worked out. And moving back up through the torso, thinking of the heart, the belly, the organs, our lungs. And knowing that I encourage belly breathing, but we can breathe in any way we are comfortable today. I like to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Moving up to the wrists and the shoulders, feeling free to roll the wrists. And we would almost place the shoulders into the mat, taking them still away from the ears. And then adjusting the neck once again, nice and long. And setting an intention for class today, maybe a goal. And we can find this to be relaxing. We can find some peace here. Maybe physically, you're looking for something to wake up your body before your day starts. Being proud of yourself today for coming in, doing it so early in the morning. You were doing the hard thing. You got up out of bed allowing yourself to feel that same pride as you go throughout your day today, even for little things. Maybe you complimented someone and it was a little nerve-wracking. Maybe you stuck up for yourself in any capacity. Maybe you listened to your body, knowing that you needed some food, some water, or even some sunshine. Allowing yourself to celebrate the little wins today, throughout your day, knowing that you deserve it. The next one is to think about something that excites us, something that brings us joy, our favorite meal, our favorite person. Allowing the heart and the mind to wake up before the rest of the body. So starting to roll out the ankles and the wrists, welcoming all the pops. And we'll begin to take our right knee in towards the chest, giving it a big hug. And we're going to go and wiggle back and forth between crossing this knee across the body so it comes over towards the left side of our body and the right side. So kind of thinking of open the gate, close the gate movements, except we're keeping our hip at one level. We can kind of do circles if we'd like. That would feel good. But we really want to keep this stretch a little bit dynamic, trying to keep this other hip down on the mat. And let's hold here for about 2 more breaths, going at our own pace between across the body or opened up towards the body. And we'll bring this knee back in. Great job. Let's bend now the left leg so that we can place it on the mat. We're going to allow our hands to hold our hamstring. I know we did this. I believe it was last week. Let's go ahead and point and flex the toes here. So as we flex the toes, allowing the back of the shin to stretch. And as we point, then we allow that same calf to flex. One of my friends started running again, and I'm not sure if she's been running before this, but she complains about really bad shin splints. And in cross country, my dad gave me a trick. So if there's any runners, there's a really thin muscle right along your shin. And when you flex your feet, it flexes that muscle. So what we're doing here is allowing these muscles to have more oxygenation, more blood running through them when we flex and point. And so this is really important, maybe before doing a long walk or a run, to make sure that we don't cramp in that really thin muscle. So let's hold our leg now. We'll flex those feet only. So the toes are pointed back near the head, but allowing our foot to be, or allowing our leg to be as straight as possible. We straighten once again by lifting that heel up towards the ceiling. And we're going to press into our hands with the leg. So we are pressing back towards the end of our mat. But with our hands, we're holding that leg here. We're going to hold for 3, 2, and 1. Maybe bringing this leg in a little bit more into the chest. So noticing a dramatic change in that flexibility. And we can place this leg all the way back down. Next, hugging in that left knee. And same thing, bringing it across and out. Still trying to keep this hip down over here. Mine raises just a little bit, but we didn't want to be completely off the mat. So same thing here. We'll hold this for about 3 more breaths, making sure to continue moving, even though I know it feels good to hold, especially this across the body stretch, but we'll find that at the end of class today. And finishing up here, bringing that knee in once again, and then we'll go ahead bending that right knee for a little bit more stability. Bringing that heel up towards the ceiling, grabbing a hold of the hamstrings here, noticing we're kind of tight, and let's flex and point the foot once again. And then we'll start with our P and F stretching. And so once again, let's flex that foot. We send that heel back towards the edge of the mat, but we are pulling with our hands at the same time. So we're finding that opposite movement here. For 3, 2, 1. Welcome that leg even deeper towards us. I like to reach for the shin and the calf here as well. And then my foot's in neutral. I don't like to keep it flexed or pointed for too long. And we'll move all the way back, this time bringing both knees into the chest. Option here to roll up down the tops of the shoulders, or my hair fell out. We'll roll onto the side. Either way, coming up to a seated position. And we'll find our crisscross. We are going to just welcome the hair to be what it looks like today. But let's inhale our hands up towards the ceiling. And this time, let's find a forward fold. We allow our hands to fall forward wherever they lay. They're going to stay here. Maybe we walk a little bit farther, testing our limits. And then using more of the spine and the core rather than the hands or the legs here, we roll all the way up. We inhale the hands back up. Reaching back out in front of us, we elongate the spine so the top of the head reaches even farther out. And we roll all the way back up. Once again, using this lumbar spine, we find that curve and we inhale. Let's take this at our own pace, about 3 more times. And so reaching as far as we'd like, but seeing if we can increase the distance between our hands and the feet. Focusing on that spinal articulation. And once we are done with finding this forward fold, feeling free to hold down as much as we'd like. Perfect. And we'll walk our hands up now, doing a little bit less work in the spine. Inhaling our hands back up towards the ceiling. And I'm finding a spinal twist, so allowing that left hand to come to that right knee. And our right hand will reach behind us. We look far. Let's inhale back up. And exhale back down. So we can stay here if we want to in our crisscross. Meeting me in the center, I'm going to show us one more difference. And so placing both of our feet out We are going to take the right knee, bending it and crossing it over the left leg. And so as we raise up our hands, we find that twist where the left elbow can wrap around. We find a little bit more of a stretch in that glute. But then we're still keeping it dynamic here, so switching to the other side. And let's do this maybe 2 more times on each side. I have a big fear that I'm going to check the time one day and it'll say 7:15. And it's just scary. We're doing great on time, however. It's kind of a fitness instructor worry. And we'll come all the way back to a seated position. And we'll go ahead here, taking our knees behind us onto the mat. We are going to come into all fours. And we'll still be finding that mobility here, but we're going to find a cat-cow and then move that together with our child's pose. So taking our cat, let's take a big inhale first, which means we're dropping the belly button down towards the mat, reaching the shoulders. I like to kind of reach them apart as if I'm rolling them behind me. And then if we would like, our tailbone can join and reach up towards the ceiling. We inhale. And as we exhale, making sure we press on the mat to take the shoulder blades away from one another. And we can stay here if we would like in our basic cat-cow, where we inhale and then exhale. But one more option, keeping the knees where they are, we bring the hips back near the heels. As soon as we're ready to inhale, we build back up and move into our cow. Hoping y'all didn't. It just disconnected and y'all heard the sneeze over the mic on the computer, but that's all right. I didn't want y'all to hear my sneeze loudly. But we'll take about 3 more breaths here. And now once we are done with those, reaching forward onto our mat. And we are going to step the knees back and allow ourselves to fall right onto our mat. And so let's go ahead, cross the forearms so that we can use it as a little pillow. Our forehead will go there. And I'm bending the knees. We take the feet up to face the ceiling. So rocking from side to side, we want to feel a nice quad stretch here. Allowing the floor to be what's rolling out our quads. And pausing at the center, pointing the toes, pressing the toes and the tops of the feet into the mat here, allowing our hands to come right underneath the shoulders. We're going to begin to build ourselves up to our Sphinx pose, where we place our elbows down. We have this kind of in-between cobra. We're feeling nice and good. Taking one more breath, we're feeling that stretch down the abdomen as well. Beautiful. Allowing our hands to come right back down underneath the shoulders. We are going to maybe increase the distance between the hands, so moving them out towards the outside of our mat. And let's press ourselves on up, but using the core in the back more. Once we're in this in-between cobra, taking our right shoulder, actually, yes, taking our right shoulder and allowing just the right shoulder to twist and try to tap down. We inhale back up, finding our little baby cobra once again, tapping down the left shoulder. So we're kind of finding a twist, lower and up. Let's find one more time on each side. Beautiful. Bringing our hands back in. Let's move back to our child's pose. So bending the knees and allowing our hands to move forward. If our hips are not feeling this today, always knowing we can move back to our puppy pose, which is where we keep the hips right over the knees. Either one that we're in, knowing you can always switch as well. We can take now our left fingers, reaching them underneath the body. And let's experiment with which way this palm is facing. We can have it face up towards the ceiling. It can be down. Kind of switching between here. If we'd like to find just a little bit of self-care today, let's flip this palm up towards the ceiling. Bending the elbow, we take the palm right near that shoulder blade. We give ourselves a big hug. We can give ourselves a little scratch on the back. Embracing ourselves here. And we'll hold for 2 more breaths. Releasing all the way back down. Let's reach both hands back out. We'll switch to the opposite side. And so first, maybe just experimenting with which way the palm is facing. If this doesn't look like something we want to do today, then feel free to not do it. Knowing that we can keep our hand extended out here if we'd like, or once again, bending the elbow. We bring the palm to the shoulder, the back, wherever it might lay. Giving ourselves just a minute of embrace. And so once again, taking about 3 more breaths here. And let's go ahead and unwind. We work both hands back in front. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and move into a downward dog. So taking the toes onto the mat, we reach all the way up. And we're not going to be here for too long. Let's take our right knee. Stepping forward with the hands, we bring the knee into the body. And with the right toes, we walk these toes across the mat over towards the left side, setting the shin down into our pigeon pose. So, a very important part of our pigeon pose is to keep both hips facing the same direction. So, we both want them facing down. We can stay up here if we would like, or we can allow our elbows to come onto the mat. We could go lower than this if we would like as well, but let's stay here for 2 breaths. And on our next exhale, we press back up, flexing the toes behind us. And we are going to bend the knees, reaching the hips a little bit higher first, and then pressing ourselves back up to downward dog. And so same thing on the left side, we bend that left knee only. We bring it underneath the chest, maybe stepping the hands a little bit more forward. And then with the left toes, we walk them over to the right side of the mat, placing the shin down. And we can stay as high as we'd like. We'll still find that stretch even if we kind of allow our hips to stay elevated here, or we can sink a little lower. But once again, holding for 2 breaths wherever we are. And then once again, actually, we will not be moving back into our downward dog, but we will bend the back knee and we can come up a little bit more with the hips, but falling onto our left side glutes. So I'm going to turn while in pigeon pose, but allowing this glute to fall over to the side so that we can reach both feet forward, and let's lay it all the way down onto our mat. Just like how we started class today, let's bring in that right knee to the chest. But then we're going to cross it over, allowing ourselves to now dramatically turn. We don't have to worry about that hip. And so we'll find this little supine twist, reaching out the right arm open, and we can also glance towards the right side. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. And moving back to center, allowing this right leg to go free. The left leg will be next, so we bring it in, cross it over first, finding a comfortable spot, then opening up with this left arm, and then glancing in the left direction. And let's take one more breath. Beautiful. Bringing both knees back into the center, reaching long with the toes and the hands. We inhale the hands up. And if you'd like, joining me in a seated position, we are going to wrap up class today, taking a breath in all together. Once again, thinking of that gratitude as we raise our hands all the way up, holding that gratitude between the palms. Exhale, bringing the hands back down. thinking of an intention today, bringing that to your attention as well. But thank y'all so much for coming. I'm going to move closer